My dear friends, today we are going to understand the planet Earth in detail, all those aspects of origin, age, internal structure, composition, evolution, and the element of Earth means Prithvi Tattva. That is the most important component of the Panch Tattva of our body and universe. So, one by one, we will go through all the detail. So, what are those topics that we are going to understand? So, I am giving you just a brief idea first. Planet Earth. So, on planet Earth, what we will understand today? The first thing, we will understand how it got originated. What was the origin? What are those basic viewpoints of different geographers about the origin? Then we will go through what is the age of planet Earth. Then we will go through internal structure and composition. Then we will go through the evolutionary aspect, evolution of different spheres. And lastly, we will go through the concept of time on planet Earth. So these are the important topics academically for examination point of view, but there are another dimension that is important for your living on this planet, Prithvi Tattva. In last class, I told you we are an idol of 5 elements. 5 तत्वों से हमारा शरीर और पूरा ब्रह्मांड बना है, जिसमें एक तत्व है पृथ्वी, और ये पृथ्वी तत्व हमारे जीवन को किस तरह से प्रभावित करता है, तो इस एस्पेक्ट को भी हम समझेंगे वन बाय वन. नाउ फर्स्ट वन इज ऑरिजिन. उत्पत्ति कैसे हुई पृथ्वी की? According to nebular hypothesis, of Kant and Laplace, initially there were hot gaseous rotating body that I have already discussed earlier also, that was known as nebula. This hot rotating body gradually cooled down, and because of cooling there were contraction in the body, and because of contraction the radius of the body gradually reduced. Therefore, according to conservation of law of conservation of angular momentum, if any rotating body is reducing in radius, then its speed has to increase. Speed increased to compensate the radius reduction for constancy of the angular momentum, to keep angular momentum conserved. So if a speed gradually increases, then centrifugal force, that is a divisionary force, acting over any circular body, circularly rotating body. So if this body is there and its speed is increasing, then this centrifugal force that is working outside will gradually increase, and accordingly this nebula got segmented into two parts. So this was the heavier elements got confined at the center and the lighter elements got confined at the periphery. In the next duration of years, in few years, this entire heavier element concentration evolved to form sun, and they further aggregated together to create different other objects like planet, satellite, asteroid, comets. So this was the perception of Kant and Laplace, and that became available to us through nebular hypothesis. So here, so many planets were created, and one of them is our Earth. So this is the structure of our solar family. Sun is there, then so these are the planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. So this is the asteroid belt. And this one is the Kuiper belt. So those object that is revolving around the sun in this belt is called as comet. And those in this belt revolving is asteroid. So this is the entire family of sun. Now here we are living over this planet Earth. So these four planets are inner planets. They are terrestrial in nature, means rocky. Terrestrial in nature means they are rocky, made up of rocks. And these are Jovian in nature. Jovian means gaseous. So now we will go through our Earth in detail. So you understood how it originated. So according to nebular hypothesis, it was the nebula from where every planet emerged in the long duration of time. So origin is considered to be around 4.6 billion years ago. That is 4,600 million years ago. This is the age of the Earth. So at this point, when Earth came into existence, Earth was a molten mass. Molten mass of high temperature body. So gradually this Earth started cooling, and because of cooling there were release of gases. So these gases created an envelope around the Earth, and this envelope of gas were called as primitive atmosphere. This primitive atmosphere was having the predominance of more than 50% was CO2. That is a greenhouse gas. There were more than 30% ammonia, CH4 and NH3 and NH3. So present atmosphere, which is having the predominance of nitrogen around 71% and oxygen around 21%. So it is 79%. So likewise, and miscellaneous gases are there. So our oxygen envelope in present atmosphere is the base of living world. Millions of plants and animal species are surviving over the planet Earth because of this oxygen. And this oxygen was completely absent in our primitive atmosphere. So now the question arises, how the initial atmosphere gradually got evolved into the present atmosphere. So now one by one we'll go through. So this is the primitive atmosphere. In which CO2, NH3 and CH4. These are the three most important gases. But, and this is your present atmosphere. In which there is nitrogen, oxygen and miscellaneous gases. So this evolution took place simply because of the evolution of the hydrosphere. When the cooling earth that was molten initially started cooling, so it released gases and water vapor also. So all those water vapor gradually condensed to form hydrosphere, in which the first life, that is blue-green algae or cyanobacteria, came into existence through biochemical process. So this blue-green algae started photosynthesis. And in this photosynthesis process, it started consuming this CO2 and started releasing oxygen. With the gradual increase in oxygen, plant community also evolved, starting from the thallophyte, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm, angiosperm. Millions of species evolved in millions of years. So the process started from the blue-green algae. So initially, oxygen level was very less, but in past 4.6 billion year, you cannot say that everything started at this point of time. From 4.6 to 2.5 billion year, Earth was almost a barren land. And that's why this phase is having no evidence. We don't have any specific evidence to understand what was the condition. But beyond this zone, there started the process of life. This blue-green algae or cyanobacteria that came in around Precambrian time, that is a period of time in Earth history. So from Precambrian time, it is considered the origin of blue-green algae, and thereafter we are having the specific record of events, plants and different species, and that's why entire history of Earth is confined up to 2.5 billion year only. Beyond that, we don't know anything. So this is the process through which primitive atmosphere evolved into present atmosphere. Now, hydrosphere that constitute more than 2/3 of Earth is also having specific name: Pacific Ocean now, Atlantic Ocean. These are the major one, and Indian Ocean. So initially all these ocean body was called as Panthalasha. So this penthalsa, that was the term used by Alfred Wegener in continental drift theory, was later known as Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean and Indian Ocean. So once you start your journey from continental coast, you find different level: continental shelf, slope, rise and abyssal plain, that is deep sea plain. Millions of plant and animal species are also living over the deep sea plain, but these are the slope aspect. This is the slope condition which is most dominant because of the variation in light and heat condition. So along with atmosphere, hydrosphere, there evolved the lithosphere. In atmosphere, one more thing that you need to understand, that from surface upward there are multiple layers like this. This is troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. Likewise, temperature gradually increases alternately. First decreases, then increases, then decreases, then increases. So these are the transition zone known by the different pause. Tropopause, likewise tropopause, stratopause, mesopause and thermopause. So these are the layers of atmosphere. In hydrosphere, I told you continental shelf, slope, rise, abyssal plain is there. Now we are coming to the lithosphere. So this earth, which is having compositional layering, compositionally they are divided into three layers, that is crust, mantle and core. So these are the compositional layers. But if you go through the rheology, means mechanical properties, then there are lithosphere, asthenosphere, then mesosphere and siderosphere. This lithosphere is the topmost, this one, which is having multiple blocks, and these blocks are known as plates. That's why the widely used term is lithospheric plate. So multiple lithospheric plates are 7 major plates are there, and minor more than 20 plates are there. So this lithosphere is having compositional 3 layered structure and rheologically 4 layered structure. Now you have understood the origin aspect, then we have understood the evolution of atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere, and then we also understood the structure of earth. So these 3 topic, having a basic concepts of these 3 topics you have understood. Now one more thing that I am telling you, if anybody asks you what is the age of the earth, then the common answer happens to be 4.6 billion years. Now the question arises, what is the basis, on which basis you say that age of the earth is 4.6 billion years? Then you have to answer that dating methods are there, which is based on radioactive activity, you can say. This radioactivity was discovered by Henry Becquerel, and according to this theory of Henry Becquerel, every radioactive element emits alpha, beta, and gamma radiation. And after a certain duration of time, its mass is converted into half. And that duration of time is called as half-life period. So this mass is getting converted into half. So this is the basic concept that we use in geography for dating the rocks of the earth. So dating method, if you are interested to know, then two major methods you have to understand. The carbon dating method is there, and uranium lead method is there. Potassium argon method is also there. So many other methods are there. But this carbon dating method is not useful for those objects which is older than 50,000 years, because its half-life is very short. 5730 C14 is having a half-life of 5730 years. That's why those objects which is older than 50,000 is having least amount of C14. That's why you cannot correlate it beyond that. But this uranium lead method is uranium 238 is getting converted to lead 206 in almost 4.5 billion years. So this method becomes widely available, widely helpful in dating most of the rocks, igneous rocks of the earth. So our understanding of this 4.6 billion year age is based upon uranium lead method. Now you have also understood the age aspect. Now think about the evolution of continent and ocean. So initially, a large landmass was there, which is known as Pangaea, and it was surrounded by ocean, that is known as Panthalassa, according to the Wegener's continental drift theory. With the passage of time, this Pangaea got divided into two parts, Laurasia and Gondwana land. And water surrounded it. This water of Panthalassa surrounded this continental belt. Further, this breakup of Pangaea into Laurasia and Gondwana land took place in Carboniferous period, that is the duration of time. Further onward, Laurasia got divided into 5 parts, and Gondwana land also got divided into 5 parts. So there were Antarctica here, in Antarctica and Antarctic. Then South America, Africa, India, Australia. So these are the different names that you need to remember. So all these continents came out of the Gondwana land. Here you observe North America, then Europe and Russia and smaller islands. So in between there were the ocean that was called as Tethys Sea. So this is the basic idea of the Wegener, that Wegener gave this concept that continents emerged from Pangea, and then after they started drifting in different direction. To prove this concept, to prove his viewpoint, he gave different evidences. First, he gave the coastline similarity between the continent. For that, he also said jigsaw fit concept, means different continents are getting fitted together. Then he gave the evidence of Glossopteris flora, Glossopteris and Rhacopteris. Presence distribution pattern of these two flora he also gave. Then he gave the evidence of paleoclimate. And lastly, he gave the distribution pattern of rocks in coastal belt. So lithology, you can say, rock means lithology. So on this four bases, he almost proved his theory that all the continents emerged from Pangea and started drifting in different direction. But lastly, all these presentations were there in 1912. But the last question that was asked to him, how Pangea got divided. How Pangea got divided to create multiple continents. So answering this question became a very big hurdle, because Wegener could not prove, could not understand the exact mechanism of breakup of such a huge Pangea. So he said it might be the lunar attraction or the centrifugal force of the rotating earth. So probability he raised, the rotating earth centrifugal force. But these two forces were not considered powerful enough to break such a huge Pangea. That's why in 1912 his theory was almost at the verge of acceptance. It was rejected because he could not prove how this Pangea got divided into different fragments. Later, with the arrival of sea floor spreading theory and plate tectonic theory, there came the convection current theory of Arthur Holmes. So sea floor spreading theory was given by Harry Hess, and plate tectonic theory was given by a group of scholars, Morgan, Tuzo Wilson, and so many others. So these theory, when came over the geographical sphere platform, then the continental drift theory was also proved right, because the question that Wegener became unable to explain became clear through convection current theory. So this theory simply says that inside the earth there is a asthenosphere And this asthenosphere is having fluid rock. And this asthenosphere, inside this asthenosphere, the fluid rock in a convection current movement is there. Convection current of magma. Convection current of magma is operating inside this asthenosphere because of the differential heat condition at the upper and lower. If you cut a cross section here, then you will observe. So this is your asthenosphere, and in upper portion there will be low heat, and in the lower section there will be high heat because of the geothermal gradient. So when you go inside, the earth temperature increases. So because of the low and high condition, there is a gradient of temperature, and that's why there starts the movement of current. Magma starts moving in a vertical fashion so as to achieve the equilibrium of heat inside the system. So this convection current of magma having temperature more than 1200 degrees centigrade was considered the region behind the breakdown of lithosphere, and once this mechanism was understood, then all the perceptions of Wegener was also accepted, and then continental drift theory came into proper academic sphere, accepted properly. Now, I told you that in last class I talked about the Pancha Tattva, that is 5 element. That is the base of human body, as well as the planet Earth and entire universe. So out of these 5 elements, Prithvi is one of the element, means earth element. How it is important in our life? It is represented through this ring finger. So this is the ring finger that represents it. All the food grain that we intake to generate energy is produced inside the earth. Food grain, pulses, cash crops, fruits, all those things that is produced inside the earth is containing this Prithvi Tattva, earth element, that we utilize for different purposes. All the micronutrient that is required for the maintenance of this body system is getting derived through earth. This element provide peaceful existence, perseverance, patience, and prosperity to human. Inside the human body, there are 7 chakras, that is also known as energy centers. So the lowermost, that is root chakra, that is Mooladhara, chakra, lying at the base of the spine, is the center of this Prithvi Tattva, earth element. And Lord Ganesh is the honor. You can say he commands the activities of the Muladhara Chakra. Lord Ganesh is the honor. So if you worship Lord Ganesh, you balances the earth element of the Muladhara Chakra. So all the prosperity, all the patience, all the perseverance aspect and peaceful existence, all these aspects that is essential for an IS aspirant during the preparation and after the selection is becoming available through the balance of this root chakra. And for the balance of root chakra, you need the earth element to be properly balanced. So importance of Prithvi Tattva you understood. So just summarize the things what we have understood today. Origin of earth, you understood. Inside the origin of earth, you understood the nebular hypothesis. Then you understood the age of the earth. Age of earth. And that I told you is 4.6 billion year, and the base of it, I told you, is the radioactive dating. Then, in evolution, I gave you the concept of atmosphere, means primitive to present. Then hydrosphere, and I told you different self slope rise portion of the hydrosphere, self slope rise and deep sea plane. Then I told you about the lithosphere. So crust, mantle, core, and lithosphere, ionosphere, mesosphere, and siderosphere. So these layerings inside the earth. Then after I told you about, I discussed the evolution of continents and ocean. And this one I told you, continental drift theory. Then the convection current theory. Lastly, I gave you the concept of Prithvi Tattva, that is earth element. Element of earth element. And how it is important in our life, means root chakra and other dimensions. So all these things are, I just simply gave you a brief idea to understand the different dimensions of the Mother Earth or the planet Earth. All these topic you need to go in detail, because UPSC can ask you questions in prelims and mains in deeper portion. So here also, along with nebular hypothesis, you need to understand several other theories. Then in age of the earth, you need to go in detail of the radioactive dating methods. What are the major methods and what are the advantages and disadvantages of potassium argon method, uranium lead method, radioactive dating method. Then we will go in detail of atmosphere, multiple layers of atmosphere and multiple atmospheric phenomena that influences human life at different scale. Then inside the hydrosphere, resources and the challenges in the current decade. Then inside the lithosphere, we will go in detail of the different structures, different layers, and how plate tectonics is influencing the human life through natural hazards. Then, this is the aspect of your understanding that will give you a basic understanding of the importance of the Mother Earth. If you have any question, you can ask me. Otherwise, that's all for today. Thank you.